All right. Hello and welcome to our live stream today. We're sorry for being late again. We seem to have trouble because, like, our family comes over on Sundays for dinner, and because our church doesn't start till noon, like, we don't get out till 3, and then excuses and excuses. And I know that's what it sounds like I'm doing. So I apologize. But we actually aren't trying to be late doing this. We just everybody so we celebrated my son's birthday today, and then everybody's like, let's watch this new show called The Pit, and I'm like, okay, it's a medical drama. It's kind of like ER, a little bit more, supposed to be more realistic anyway.
That's pretty
And
good.
my daughters have been trying to get my wife into it because my wife is a registered nurse, for those of you who don't know. So anyway, so today our topic is Attack on Titan. Now, full disclosure, it's been a while since we've watched Attack on Titan, so we're a little rusty. We just ask you to hang in there with us, and hopefully it's all worth it in the end. Now, for those of you who don't know that much about Attack on Titan, which would be sad because you should all know a lot about Attack on Titan.
For a while, it's pretty good.
It is a very good anime. It's another one that I didn't jump into right away. I think they had at least 2 seasons of it out when I first started watching it. So I was a little late coming to it. We're going to get into talking about characters today because it really centers around 3 main characters, but there's a huge ensemble cast that comes into this as well. And if you really love a character, don't, because they're probably going to die 15 seconds after you start liking them. I will tell you that about Attack on Titan. They kill off people at the drop of a hat. It is a very gory, but not like overly gory. It's just realistic. It is very like what it would be like if you were in this situation. So what are your thoughts about?
It's good. My sister dragged me into it because she wanted me to be just as traumatized as her from the show.
And there will be some PTSD from watching Attack on Titan.
Yes, it was pretty good. She dragged me into it. I started watching it, and she was very good at describing how gory and kind of horror-ish it is, but it's like interesting at the same time as being like very adventurous. Like, it drags you in when you start getting curious about what's going on. Mm-hmm. So I really like that part.
Because I mean, it starts off, it's a little bit of a slow burn, but not much. I mean, you're first getting introduced to basically the 3 main characters, which is Eren Yeager, Armin Arlette, and Masika Ackerman. So you're kind of get introduced to those 3 originally, because they're really going to be the main ones you're following throughout this story, but there will be a lot of other characters coming in and out and in and out. Like I said, it's like a meat grinder of people.
You get through like a bunch of people in the first season, and then some of them die. So then you get introduced to new people who replace them in the second season.
And the amazing thing is, it is sad when these people die, because you really become invested in them very quickly.
And their story, like how they all end up where they are in the core.
Yeah, in the assault core, I think is what they. So, like I said, if I get some of this wrong, just give me the benefit of the doubt, because it's been a while since I've watched all the seasons, and the last season I haven't even finished watching because I thought the season before the last season was the last season, and they come out and went, nope, one more season, and so I'm a little off my game on the final seasons of this show.
I'll have an excuse. Me and my sisters were going to watch it together and never did.
Yeah.
So. But I've heard it's really good, and I'm excited because I do want to watch it after this.
Yeah. So, and we're not going to get into spoilers or too many details and stuff. There will be some spoilers because depending on where you are in the seasons and stuff like that, we might talk about something, but we'll try and keep it fairly vague. Yeah. But the one thing I wanted to touch on is the music is very good throughout this. The animation is fantastic. And what gets me is how intricate and drawn out the story is. Like it is one of those things where like you think, oh, it's going to take too long to go, but like they keep it at just about a perfect pace to keep you invested and keep giving you and feeding you that story while also giving you a lot of character development. Like they don't sacrifice one for the other. You are definitely going to get both in this. So if you had to pick a favorite character, could you do it?
Not really.
Oh, I was waiting for the obvious answer to come out.
No, that's not my obvious answer.
My other daughters were just here, and I asked them if they wanted to be part of this, but they had to go home. And I remember because I think my oldest daughter Katie got into this first. Her and McKenna got into this together, and I can't remember, was it McKenna or Katie?
It was Kenna that got into it, dragged Katie into it, and then decided I should be part of it too.
And somewhere in that mix, I got told I had to watch this and stuff. And I had seen it, but I was just like, I didn't know if it was one that I'd be overly interested in. And so I just sat down one night and just started watching. Well, 6 hours later, I was still watching it. I don't even remember what was going on the next day, but I know I was very tired the next day because I'd stayed up all night watching all these episodes back to back to back to back. It is one that if you can catch yourself binge watching yourself into a coma. So, but yeah, so it does grab you. And I remember sitting there thinking, this is a lot of blood. Like there's a lot of blood, there's a lot of gore and stuff that's happening, but it's like I said, it's just because it's realistic. It's like it's what would be happening if they don't sugarcoat anything.
I'd say the first and second season are the most gory, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So because then the third season is mostly talking about the backstory of how Titans became a thing, and the first two is just trying to get to the part of them trying to figure out what's going on.
Yeah, it's and learning where the Titans came from is like it takes a long time to get there and stuff. But once you do, you're just like, oh my gosh, they're basically being imprisoned. Yeah, well, anyway, I don't want to give too much away or to the backstory and stuff like that, but I mean, you just kind of end up sitting there with your mouth hanging open, like, oh, and because they can't figure it out. This has been going on for like 100 years. This war between the humans and the Titans, and it's basically come to a standstill because the walls are impenetrable. They can't get through. The Titans can't get through the walls, and the people can't expand out any further. So they're kind of stuck, and they're in concentric rings. And so I think it's like Wall Maria, Wall Rose. There's a bunch of different names that you're going to find out. And there's the main walls, and then there's kind of these protrusions that come out that are like horseshoe shaped, that come off of the farthest outer ring wall, that are kind of where some towns are and stuff like that are basically guarding the inner gates. So they've got to hit the outer gate to get through the city that's there to the inner gate to the next wall that leads further in. That's basically they
did that strategically so that like the Titans would want to cluster to these little, like, what did you call them? Horseshoe?
Oh yeah, the horseshoes. Yeah.
Anyway, so that way the general walls aren't getting as like much damage from the Titans like scratching and like kind of banging on them almost. Just over time.
I think I said protrusions.
But
so let me see if I can share this picture and I'll kind of give you an idea what we're talking about here. All right, so present. And I'm talking you guys through this like you guys can see my screen.
I guess I'll say I do have a favorite character. It's technically Armin, but just because, you don't expect him. Well, my sisters didn't expect me to like him, But I actually really liked him. I was like, oh my gosh, this character is like smart and strategic, and he's gonna be the character that people like put down because he gets bullied in the first season by other kids in the I guess I should say they're kids when we first start the show.
Yeah, they're very young.
Yeah, and then like, whoa, where was my train of thought? Sorry. So he gets bullied as a kid and just kind of put him down, but then he's really smart. He reads books. He's like intelligent about the walls, being outside and like wanting freedom and like more than what's in the walls and everything.
Yeah, which is kind of forbidden knowledge. They kind of like talk about like there is no world outside the walls, or like they've been trained to fear being outside the walls. That's what they've done to the human beings. So like you can see here, I hope you guys can see this okay. So these are what we were talking about, like these protrusions out here. And like Brianna was saying, they have a high density population inside here because the Titans are drawn to high population areas. And so they're trying to make the Titans come and kind of cluster around here rather than having to watch this entire long section of wall. Now, I'm sure they still do, but it tends to kind of make them conglomerate in this area.
Wild. Like it looks kind of small when I first like saw the like drawn thing, but you get inside the movie and it's like miles wide and it's pretty spacious, but not enough for the population.
Yeah. So, I mean, and it's just so they've been stuck in this basically 100 years of stalemate where the Titans can't get in and they can't get out. And then suddenly one day it gets changed when a massive Titan, what do they call him? The giant Titan or the steel Titan? I can't. Oh,
the armored Titan.
Armored Titan. No, so there's the armored Titan, but what's the huge
Colossal.
one? Colossal. So these two Titans that have never been seen before show up, and if you've seen like the posters and stuff for Attack on Titan, you see him. You see Armin or not Armin.
Colossal.
No, what's the main character?
Eren?
Eren Yeager. Yeah. So you kind of see Eren Yeager standing, and then you see the wall, and there's the head of a Titan that's sticking up above the wall. That is the Colossal Titan. He kicks through the door into Wall Maria, or into the like say here down here at this protrusion. He kicks through this wall here, then what they call the armored Titan breaks through and takes out the inner door in here to Wall Maria, basically exposing this complete outer ring to the Titans. And so it's kind of a crazy thing that happens, and it changes everything. Like all of a sudden, the people are panicking. They're all trying to move inside the inner rings, which causes shortages of food and supplies. And I mean, it's basically you're watching the collapsing of a civilization from outside attacking forces.
And when this happens, this is when like the three friends, Mikasa, Eren, and Armin, decide they're gonna join the core army thing that they have going. Shoot, I forgot the name.
The name of it.
So they can fight back against like the Titans and protect their city, basically. So like once they all break in, because that's where they lived. And then I forgot what age. They have to wait until they're a certain age because they're little, and then they have to go a couple years before they can.
They're probably like maybe 10 or 12, I think, maybe when the Colossal Titan first breaks through the main wall, and then the Colossal or the Armored Titan takes out the inner wall to Wall Maria. So I think it's the garrison. Is what they're called. The
training corps.
Yeah,
they go to the training.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, but so that you have to kind of wait till they get older. They get old enough to join the core of the military, which has different groups within that actual
3
Army Corps.
different
Yeah.
corps to protect the wall,
hmm
fight against.
Then like the military police, they're kind of in the center ring, protecting like the nobles and the kings and the royalty and all that kind of stuff. And then you've got just the regular army that is kind of, they like guard the walls and stuff like that. And what are the guys called that go out? Oh, my gosh. Yeah, that figures. Here we are talking about.
No, shoot. It's like the main thing.
Yeah, they're the main attack wing basically for the military. They go outside the walls and try and find out what's going on. They do raids. They try and go out and kill Titans, and stuff. But yeah, so it's and I apologize, we don't have that name. It's like right there on the tip of my brain. But so they're going out to do these, and everybody, like all these kids and most of these people, when Walmaria fell, they are the ones that go into the corps all at the same time, the training group, and they all, like I said, you learn about their stories and why they're there and what's driven them to join the attacking forces and stuff like that. And then through that first season, you're really kind of going through the training with that new group of fighters.
Yeah.
But you get introduced to the aerial rigs, which are really cool. You just end up and basically it turns a soldier into a flying attack machine, using a cable system and air-fired like jets that propel them through the air. And so they shoot out these cables, and they're basically turning all of them into Spider-Man. I mean,
except not coming out the wrist, coming out the hips.
Yeah, coming out of their hips. And then they've got these, what they call them as paring blades, which are these long swords that are made of razor sharp material, to kill the Titans. And the only way you can kill a Titan is to slash open the back of its neck. And they finally figure out that's how you kill them, but it's really difficult to get there. You have to be able to get around behind them.
Obviously, because they're giant, they can maneuver, like, grab you. They have like different varieties of Titans. You come to find out there's abnormals, there's regular Titans.
Yeah, there's just a basic Titan, then you've got the abnormals, and then you've got, which are like, they're chaotic. They don't know what they're going to do. The regular Titans, they kind of have a way of figuring them out and knowing what to expect. The abnormals, there's no rules. Like, you just have to try and figure out how to get past them.
They're unexpected. They don't go after normal things. Like, the regular Titans will target people, but abnormals will just do whatever. Like, they'll just go after random things, or like, I don't know.
Yeah. And then you've got the one group of Titans where they're special. They're special Titans. So you've got the Beast Titan, you've got the Colossal Titan, the Armored Titan,
the female Titan.
The female Titan. So they're very special. They're like very intelligent.
Like, they show.
Yeah, they are on a different level than the other Titans, which are, for the most part, just mindless killers. All they want to do is eat as many human beings as they can, which is like weird because it gives them they get no nutritional value. They're like, they have no sex organs. They have no, like, and you see that a lot because they're basically naked all the time.
And also, come to find out, I forgot what season, but apparently they eat people and then they throw them back up.
Yeah.
And it's kind of
piles of bodies.
Gory.
But yeah, so that's what they mean. Nobody can figure out why the Titans are doing what they're doing, or like why they're so compelled to eat a food source that does nothing for them. And so it's just, but then throughout the seasons, they start gaining more knowledge about the Titans and why the Titans might be doing what they're doing. And
they start. Crap, I forgot. I guess they don't really have a motive at first, but then they get new knowledge when Sorry, I completely forgot. I guess when the second time the wall broke. I'm skipping ahead, I think.
Oh, that's right.
Sorry.
We're not going in chronological order.
But when the second wall breaks, when they are finally members of the Corps, Survey Corps. I think that's
so those are the scouts.
Oh,
the Scout Corps is the ones that go out and do all the crazy stuff, and they're kind of seen as like the elite. The people really love them and stuff like that. And
they think they're the ones that actually are trying to go out and change and fix whatever's going on and what they're trying to figure out. So
because in the first season, you kind of get this sense that the people don't always particularly like the military, the military and the guys that are guarding the walls, because they're laying around, they're drunk, they like this. So it's like they have this like, oh, we're your protectors and stuff, but it's like nobody ever sees them do anything, and so like there's this kind of animosity almost between the guards or the military and the scouts and the different groups and stuff, and the people are really not behind the military and stuff at the first, because like I said, it's been 100 years, nothing's happened, nobody's gone either way, so they've kind of gotten complacent and lulled into a false sense of security until the Colossal Titan comes and it changes everything. And like I said, and then you get the Armored Titan. I keep wanting to say Armored Titan or Steel Titan or something. Anyway, but yeah, so you're getting, so they're starting to learn all these different things. And seriously, the deeper into the series that you get, the more amazed you will be at how things evolve, and you find out about the royalty behind all of this, where the Titans came from, why the Titans are doing what they're doing now, and stuff. And it's, I mean, basically, these guys are in a penal colony and don't even know it. Without trying to give too much away, that's what's happening here, is that they're trapped, and they finally figure out they're trapped. Like, and this has been done to them on purpose. So, I mean, and from there, it just gets more and more crazy.
And I was going to say something, but I think that's too much of a spoiler. Maybe I shouldn't say
you're
it.
like, oh.
But I think the one step they really take to figure out this is the main character, Eren, becomes a special Titan.
And see, and up until that happens to him, nobody realizes that that's even possible, because they still have no idea where the Titans are coming from. All of a sudden, he is a Titan. And then all of a sudden, and then through that, like, you start to see the other Titans showing up, the new ones. So
he's not always a Titan. He turns back into a human and can turn into Titans. And then that's how they start discovering things, because he can start seeing memories of, whoa. Sorry, he starts seeing memories.
Yeah, he starts seeing things that lead them down, like basically a line of clues, and it all starts with his father. So we find out that, like, his father kind of passed this down to him. He was trying to figure out what was going on, kind of helps figure out what's happening. And then, so they're trying, and so it's basically Eren and them are trying to go back through the steps to figure out what his father knew, because his father knew most of what was really going on, because he had access to historical records and everything that led up to this.
He was a doctor, and he went like everywhere in the circles, because he was like one of the best.
Yep. So he like works with the royal family, and so like he figures out all this stuff, and is basically trying to change things. Because they've gotten complacent. And he wants to shake things up. Little did he know, he really shook things up, and stuff. But it's just, like I said, this is a fascinating anime. It is one that, like, as long as you can handle the gore and stuff like that. This is one. I mean, this is not a kids anime. Absolutely not. This is an adults kind of anime. And it's just, and I kind of like that about it because a lot of times, most of the anime I watch can go either way, like kids, adults, whatever. But it's nice to get those kind of adult type animes every once in a while. Like the ones we've been doing the last few weeks have been more of the adult type genre. The Solo Leveling, the one what did I do last week?
I wasn't there last week.
Oh gosh, I'm losing my mind. Anyway, so but yeah, and then like Attack on Titan. So we've been kind of going through the more adult type animes, just because I love those other styles. But when you get into this kind of anime,
it's more detail.
Yeah, and you don't really get the
and...
cutesy little characters that are there as a distraction and stuff, which those are always fun in anime. But you get more of that adult feel and a really kind of deep story instead of just kind of a surface level.
I think I like how this one kind of like barely but nicely gets political and brings you into what it's like to be in a semi-dystopian like world that they're living in, and they kind of like have to figure out because they've come to find out that the royal is corrupt and everything, and so they have to try to rebuild everything, change it, and just really like refigure everything out, and it just becomes very politically accurate in a dystopian way.
Yeah, it really does, because basically it's the story of a bankrupt civilization. So basically what happens is there's a huge war, the different things go on, these people are exiled, and so it's basically relearning history. Basically they forgot the history that led them to where they are, and it was done to them on purpose. They were their minds, their history books, everything was purposely erased to keep them kind of closed in and not want to leave. And basically it's kind of done for their protection, but more for the protection of the royals and stuff like that. And so it's unraveling all of those secrets to get back to the knowledge that they had before. And so that's the really interesting. I mean, it's basically like waking up one day, not knowing who you are, and having to rebuild who you were. That's what's happening, but it's on a civilization level. I mean, it's like, so this whole group of people have been lied to, cheated, manipulated, and then these few people that kind of break through some of that are trying to redo that so that there's the truth can come out. So, I mean, and you really don't see that at first. I mean, you don't see that till quite a bit further on. So I guess that is a bit of a spoiler, but trust me, the whole story to get there, that's the cool part. Yeah. Like, I can't spoil it by just telling you the overall basics, because it's the journey that you're going to fall in love with. And the characters, I mean, even the characters that die, like they build this story on. Like you end up cheering for what they did and stuff, and you kind of remember them, and they kind of keep remembering them throughout the series, because like, you know, somebody did something that affected something, and then they do a flashback to like, oh, that's why that guy was, you know, doing this or that.
What he said, I remembered, this is going to lead on to something bigger. But I think a big example of this is they bring in a commander of an army for a couple episodes, and then he dies, but you literally like start feeling so emotional for his death, because you're like, because he makes such a big impact. Like, you see him once or twice, and then a couple episodes, and then he's gone. But it's interesting.
But you, as well as my daughters, are probably going to remember one person out of this anime more than anybody else. Go ahead and say it. Captain Levi. He is like the baddest bad-A of this whole show. He is just, he's like stone cold cool. Just like the way he acts, the way he fights.
Yeah. And it all comes from his backstory, which
Mhm.
you can't even get from the regular episodes. It's like a special episode, I think. But it's so dark, and then that's how you realize that's how he became horrible, but that's how he became so cool.
Yeah.
And like what he became like fighting to the
Sometimes
core.
it's going through that dark story that leads a hero into the light that makes them that
Yeah.
much more compelling, is the
Yeah.
fact that they had to wade through all of this horrible stuff to become the hero and stuff. And it really does make them so we've got at the creator is saying it was a toss-up between Levi and Aaron. Yeah. I mean, Aaron, like I said, those three characters are really fun to watch, and it's basically like George Lucas said about Star Wars. Basically, you're watching that through the eyes of two droids. Like if you knew what George Lucas did with R2D2 and C3PO, they're the two consistent characters through that entire thing. Is because he wanted you to see the history through the people who, or the two beings that watched the whole thing happen. And you feel kind of like that with these three, like everything's revolving around those three main characters. And yeah, it's just, it is a lot of fun to watch. It's very emotional. You're going to find yourself being like, but I like that guy. Or that girl was so cool, and you're going to end up feeling like, no, that's why I say don't get attached to characters because you just don't know what's going to happen, but you will whether you want to or not.
Yeah, 100%. My sister tricked me into liking a character and then he died. And she was like, now you know how I felt.
It doesn't sound like a sibling at all, does it?
No.
You're really going to like Sarah. She's great. Oh, she just died. Whoops. Anyway, but yeah, no. So this anime has just really something for everybody. This anime reminds me a lot of a different genre, but Babylon 5. If you like a science fiction, it's very much the same way. It's a very long track story with a lot of intricate twists and turns that like they kind of have to go back and remind you of what happened in previous episodes so you could piece the puzzle together.
Just because it's so long and there's so much detail. Like I think I rewatched it. Sorry.
I think I did.
I rewatched it, and they're like, you start picking up more things like after you watch it a second time because you're like, oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
And then you take it into the next like seasons or episodes, and you go, oh my gosh, how did I realize this before?
How did I not see that when it was happening?
But it's just because there's so many details, and it adds. There's a reason for those details, and it's cool.
And you're going to get lost in, especially when you start. I mean, there's a lot of like she was saying, political intrigue or just intrigue in general. I just Mario says, I wish Jim Carrey was on Game of Thrones. Why? I can't see Ace Ventura running through the King's Land. I don't know, maybe you could. But no, so I mean, but this show is just it is kind of the best of what happens when anime really does something special. It's kind of like what we're going to be talking about next week. We're going to be talking about Demon Slayer. We're going to do a quick review of the first season and then kind of go on from there with the new seasons and what's coming and some of the different things that are happening in that world. But this, like you said, for an anime that I kind of got dragged into, this turned out to be something where I was like, why didn't I get into this sooner? But then I'd have to sit there and wait for season after season, and that's tough for me. Like somebody told me that the new season for Fire Force is coming this year, and I'm just like, oh yeah! And then I'm like, crap, it's going to take forever for that to come out in English because I'm sorry, I can't watch in subtitles because I get distracted. I end up reading, and then I'm missing what's going on up here, and I'm
the person that likes to look for the details in the background,
yeah.
And so if I'm reading it, I can't pick out the little details and find them later.
So Mario just said, he made you laugh. We're some Italian guys watching you. well, welcome, Italian guys. No, but so we do this. Those of you who don't know, I'm Brianna's dad, and I bring in different ones of my kids to talk about these animes because it's something we share a love for, which drives my wife crazy. We were sitting around the table at dinner today, all talking about different animes, and my wife was just looking at us like, "What?"
I think we talk
Who?
about this every single
Oh, I know.
time.
She gets confused every Sunday afternoon when we have our family dinners. But
I mean, we go on rants about all kinds of movies, not just
Yeah.
anime, but either way, it's still fun.
yeah, but she gets lost in the anime. She has no clue. She doesn't like it. She's not interested.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of to blame. I started the whole anime train, but for my family.
Yeah, so we got to blame you.
but anyway, so if you guys have any questions about this anime, like I say, if you have not seen this, definitely go give it a watch. You will be drawn in if you like adult type, and I don't mean adult boobs and whatever. Hey, I'm talking about like adult storytelling. This is fantastic. And like I said, every time you think you've figured out what's happening, it's like, nope, we went this way. And it's good. Like, it's not like Star Wars subversion of expectations. It's good subversion of expectations.
Yeah.
It is. Mario says it's great. We instantly liked you. Wish you had some subscribers because, yes, I wish we had millions of subscribers. But you know what? We do this just for fun and to enjoy and to share with you guys something that we love. Anime has become a huge part of our family, just because Hollywood sucks. I mean, all you have to do is even think the name Snow White, and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
We don't even want to bring that up.
Yeah, I know. See, I like did a video about people. Please stop talking about Snow White because I couldn't take it anymore. My brothers thought that was funny, but no, seriously, this. I hope you guys will join us for next week when we talk about Demon Slayer, because Demon Slayer is another one of those that there's kind of a young person's aspect to it, but there's a lot that's not like, it's very like adult content as well. And like I said, not boobs and pornography, but I'm talking like attacks and
it's also slightly gory when you get into details about the demons they fight. But besides that, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it's.
I'll say it's 100%. Like, I'm sorry, I guess not 100%. I'm sorry, way less on the scale. I don't know. It's way less on the scale of Attack on Titan. We're going a little down.
So Attack on Titan is gore level 500, and like Demon Slayer is more like 100. It's maybe 50. I don't know. So, but no, and it's another one of them. I love in anime how kind of each anime will take on its own specific look. Stuff we were talking about Arcane today. Arcane is a very different looking type of animation, and I love how they do that. It really adds, and it either it makes the storytelling very different. Like I said, with Solo Leveling, it's the same thing. There's kind of a unique style that comes there. I mean, it's similar. They all have similar ties, but they're all a little different in their own way. And it's kind of fun to see how those differences. Do you guys like One Punch Man? Oh, you missed the intro. Yes. I want the next season of One Punch Man.
Second the motion.
Big time.
Second the motion.
Oh, I love Saitama. I've got a shirt with Saitama, and the one that says Saitama's Gym, and it's him holding like a bar with his head. Yeah. No, we love One Punch Man. It is fantastic.
Yes. It's quite good.
Yeah. And that's like I said, I want them to keep making. See, like we get upset in our family when they kill an anime, just as we're all like, and now what? What's happening? Like, what happens now? Like Yona of the Dawn got one season, and then we're all like, what the hell? Like, what happened?
Because there's so much you could do there.
Yeah, there is a lot, and I don't know
the humor and the adventure in that one is so good. Like it's equally balanced.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm not sure that much about the manga, if the manga continued or if like what happened with that one in particular. But like, yeah, we get frustrated with those when they just end and nobody tells you like what happened. And that happens with animes a lot, where they're just like, well, if you want the rest of the story, you got to go read the manga. And I'm like, do you know how much manga costs for me? Anyway, but no. So thank you guys for watching today. Like I said, we will be back next week. We'll try and be on time next week. And we may be trying to move this to a little bit earlier time, make it easier for people to actually come and help us remember actually when we're supposed to be here, because like we were 30 minutes late today, and I apologize for that. But no, this is like I said, go watch this, or just go give it a rewatch. If you've already seen this, go watch it again, because like I said, you
could still pick up
you're
stuff.
going to get something out of it, every time that you didn't get the last time, and it makes for a lot of fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this, and we will talk to you guys next week. Thanks for being here, and we'll leave you with a little something as we're headed out here.
Oh yeah.
Talk to you next week. Bye now.